I am so excited. We got some live music for you. I've got Ziona Riley. She is in the studio from Nashville, and she's going to be playing tonight at Bitter Buffalo Records / Calichico out on 7th Street. Really awesome new space. If you've not been there, highly recommend you checking it out. And I asked her to stop on through and share some music and some information, talk about what she's doing on this tour. So Ziona, thank you so much for coming into the studio today.
Jenny, thank you. It feels great to be here.
Well, thank you big time for bringing your dog.
Yeah, Crystal.
And we've got little Crystal sitting here hanging out, and we're hoping that she's feeling a little better by the end of the in-studio performance. Yeah. So, Ziona, I got to know who you are because we have a mutual friend, Little Mazarn, down in Austin, Texas, friends with Lindsay Verrill and Jeff Johnston. I was so happy to get connected that you were coming through town and that you were able to come in and do a set and play a show. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your music.
Sure. Well, I'm from Nashville, been living there for close to 12 years, and originally from the Midwest, Bloomington, Indiana. I've been playing music since I was a little child, and writing songs seriously since about 4 years ago. Just heading out on my first solo tour of the Southwest.
Wonderful.
Currently.
So did you drive in this morning?
We drove in this morning from Oklahoma City, where we played last night. And before that, we were in St. Louis.
And how was the show in Oklahoma?
It was wonderful. It was a very intimate, private show at a friend's house. And
house concert.
Yes, a very intimate private house concert. It kind of happened impromptu when the venue we were going to play in fell through, and it turned out for the best. Really,
a lot of fallen through venues do turn out for the best. Don't
I
they?
agree.
You get to make really good friends there. Well, I see you've got a really interesting story. You mentioned your family. You grew up with music. It looks like you've got classical music, composition. You've got a lot of not necessarily folk music going there. Can you talk a little bit about how you came into your own music from that?
Yeah, I grew up in a restrictive religious faith community, and secular music was much highly frowned upon. And for 7 years of my life, the only time I heard something secular was if I was at a neighbor's house or some car was driving by. We lived in a town of 800, Gosport, Indiana, and I grew up on classical music, mainly. That's what I remember. And we sang hymns as a family and in church, and listened probably to gospel and Christian contemporary, though it's really the classical music that sticks out to me in my memory of those formative years. And I guess as I grew up and became more independent and found my way to all kinds of music, and found my way to loving secular music and loving things that are not necessarily classical music as well. I started to how do I put that? I started writing folk songs because that was what I felt like I could do at my level as a guitarist.
Keeping it simple.
Yes, and I love folk music. I was introduced to Bob Dylan. Sounds crazy. I was introduced to Bob Dylan in college, and I took a class called The History of Bob Dylan with Glenn Gast. He's a rock historian in Indiana University, and it was pretty life-changing. And I think that's a big part of why I started writing the way I write.
Well, this is going to be a real treat for people across the High Plains listening. This station that you're on is the sole source of classical music on the High Plains. We are right after this show. It's 4-hour block of classical.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. Yeah, and the coolest thing is that you're in the Texas Panhandle, which has a huge classical music community. There's the Amarillo Symphony, there's Harrington String Quartet, Chamber Music Amarillo, 2 different universities with incredible music schools. So you're going to be in good company with people listening right now across the High Plains. Well, we'd love to hear a song. I know you are playing tonight in Amarillo, Texas. That's at the Calichico 2311 Southwest 7th Avenue. You can look online at hppr.org. I got all the information there on the community calendar. But yeah, let's hear a song.
Well, sure. I would like to start with a song I wrote called 10 New Pens, and it's sort of an ode to it's a song about writing. And I'm always bad about introducing songs. I'm like, how much do I say? But here it goes.
I like it.
I bought myself 10 new pens, 10 new pens for writing again, and sat on my hands. Watering cans, cast iron pans, stacks of plates and daily demands. I sat on my hands. Pages lie fallow, my diary spent from entries of kept appointments. I bought myself 100 stars, plastic stars that glow in the dark, and slept in the park. Pages lie fallow, my diary spent from entries of kept appointments. Call on my wellspring, call on all my aching disappointments. No missed appointments with them. My 10 new pens.
You're tuned to High Plains Morning on member supported High Plains Public Radio with a live in studio with Ziona Riley in town for a show in Amarillo, Texas this evening at Calichico. That's 2311 Southwest 7th Avenue. Is the show starting around 7 tonight?
I believe the poster said doors at 8.
Doors at 8. Okay, so we're going to
thought
party.
so.
This is the Little Friday, as they call it in Denmark, right? Lille Fredag. So we're going to
All right.
start partying during the week.
Nice.
What a beautiful song. I love we get
you.
so much about the blank canvas. We get so much about the blank page, but we don't hear about when you get a new pen, the pressure is on.
Yes. How many times have you bought yourself new pens or a new notebook, and then you got home and found the old one that you bought and that you never used?
Oh, honey. If we had
You know?
if I had $1 for every 10 pages in, and then it's just like, oh, well, there was that screenplay from 1989.
Right.
You should just never write when you still have a mullet, you know? That's what I think. No, that's it. What a beautiful song. That makes me, it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite singer-songwriters that I discovered not too long, maybe 10 years ago, Sybil Bayer.
Oh, I love Sybil. I pronounce it Bear. I don't know.
Oh, Bear. It might be Bear. I took French.
Yes, I love Sybil Bear. And honestly, this is the style of that song, the chord progression and the melody. To be honest, I was very, very much like hopefully not trying too hard to channel, but loving Sybil Bear and channeling her in that song. So
you're manifesting her spirit.
Hopefully.
Well, that was wonderful. So you have tell us a little bit about, you mentioned this is one of your first tours going out on the road solo in this region. You do have a Bandcamp page if anybody wants to check that out. It's zionariley.bandcamp.com. That's ZIONARILEY.
Z as in zebra.
That's Z as in zebra. Thank you. I have to do that with my last name too.
Yes.
And then, do you have albums coming out? Are you working on getting some studio work together, or are we just kind of working it around?
Yeah, absolutely. The story is I've been toiling away in Nashville, where it's very expensive to live, and I've been working in restaurants for almost a decade, and was the general manager of a really lovely place called the Wild Cow for 3 years. And during that time is when I started writing the songs that I'm currently playing, and I, at that time, was just so busy that I did not make time for recording, even though I had plans to. And recently, as of about 4 weeks ago now, I quit that job to do it, to go on tour and to record. And I've got some studio time coming up in Nashville in the month of June and July, and I've got some time. I want to do some a couple sessions or one session with Steve Albini for my first album, because I just really want to. And so that's going to happen, and hopefully it will all come together around September in terms of being finished recording, and who knows when it will be out, but hopefully later this year or early next year.
Well, congratulations on making the jump. I know that's got to be a little bit terrifying, but also exhilarating.
Totally. Both. Yeah.
So you've lived with these songs for a while. How many of them are more recent versus these are ones that I've been developing?
The songs that I play on my current set list, I think are 70% new, and they're the ones that are on Bandcamp are a bit older. But yeah, I'd say a mix of all written within the last 3 years, maybe a third of them written within this last season. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that one was pretty recent.
Yeah. Being on tour, has that been inspiring things, seeing this new landscape, getting out of town?
Yes. As they say, you got to fill the well. And I was driving, I woke up at 5 this morning, drove through fog and morning mist.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, well, it was wonderful. And I was actually taking in the what is that shade of green that you start to see as you approach Texas? There's this I
think they call it yellow.
No, it's not. It's like this periwinkle green.
Oh yeah.
It's like a grayish white. It's like a grayish pastel green. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's filling my well right now. Gonna keep my eyes open, let that seep in.
Mm-hmm. It does have kind of a Midsummer's Night kind of tinge to it. Bluegrass, the buffalo grass.
Yes,
yeah.
Buffalo grass. All right, good to know.
Well, we'd love to hear another song if you got one in ya.
I would love to play another song. Actually, since we're in Texas, I've got a song called Texas Bodhisattva. This song is written for a friend of mine. It's an ode to a friend of mine. I write odes, I guess. His name is Dennis Powell. He's a poet living in Santa Barbara currently, but he's from Texas, and I met him in Bloomington, Indiana. He's a lifer, as they say, out there just living his art and being, in my opinion, a sort of bodhisattva. So here it goes. with your mother. Maybe you don't belong there, but what if you do, and Texas needs you? Think of California, think of Indiana. Whose poem do you belong to? Well, if it isn't God, well, if it isn't you, and heaven, even with their blessing, doesn't hold a flame. The grass is always greener on sidewalks where you sell your chapbooks. Somewhere near a bar, the college kids meander. Don't bother, it's bros before Nirvana. Can I get a ride? Oh, what are all the books for in a Borders bookstore? Make it a good altar call. All creatures great and all creatures small. They're seasick, here to face the music. Leave it to the kid, he's naked in a golf cart. Ship jumper, the Navy's such a bummer. Doggy paddle home, you didn't need the honor. You're so dog-eared, how old are you in God years? Can I get a ride? Oh, Texas Bodhisattva, medicinally binging on poems you don't belong to. Well, if it isn't God, well, if it isn't you, take a long vacation, poetry adjacent. Maybe you'll fix the sidecar. Your shaman and you, and room for your guru. Doggone it, the college alcoholics, diurnal owls, all with their problems to relate to. Whoa, mama, it's bros before Nirvana. When did you decide that Texas didn't need you? Ship jumper, tethered to my bumper. Can I get a ride? All creatures great, come as you are. All creatures small, get in the car. Oh,
You're listening to Ziona Riley live in the studio on High Plains Morning. I think that's the first song I've ever heard about the weird Texas-California poll. Everybody says people from Texas all go right on over to California. There's something very different but yet very similar about them. They kind of look similar when you look at the landscape in certain parts, but
the desert maybe?
Yeah,
I guess.
You'd think you'd want to get out of there, but when you think of California, traditionally, you don't really think of the desert as much.
True.
Think of water, but it is a desert.
There's some desert, and there's some water, and it's coastline.
Just like Texas.
Big old trees.
Oh my God, we cracked the code. We did it.
Just like Texas.
We did it on a Thursday even. Well, this is really cool that you're coming and playing at one of our kind of new spaces we have here in Amarillo, Texas. That is a combo art gallery, resale shop, bookstore, record shop, and event venue. And this is just something that's been put together in the last year and a half that has just turned into like a place to host, independent experimental folk musicians like yourself. So
That's
I'm really
amazing.
excited it worked out.
Me too, especially at such short notice.
Yeah. Yeah. People sliding through town is kind of our specialty.
Yeah.
So. I do hope
Amazing.
everyone in the Amarillo area, if you're in the Texas Panhandle, mark your calendars. It is technically Lily Free Dog, Little Friday, so let's party. The weekend starts now. Tonight at the Caliche Code, doors at 8. That's 2311 Southwest 7th Avenue, and you can check that out. Really wonderful space. You should meet the people who run it, and it's just a good vibe out there. You're going to get a good crowd. We definitely would love to hear another song, but any final thoughts here? We got about 5.5 minutes left.
Final thoughts. Amarillo is a special place, I can tell already, and I would like to come back through. And I'm just very thankful that you wanted to do this. This is so fun.
Heck yeah.
This is extremely fun.
Well, tell your other songwriters, poets out there about us, because we are on Route 66, which is soon to be having its 100-year anniversary, and there's going to be a big celebration. We're on the way to so many places, and people sometimes don't think to stop, but
well, I did.
Good.
I'm a pioneer.
Thank you. Thank you for stopping, Ziona. Well, we are excited to have your show here tonight, and those of you who are not down here in the Texas Panhandle, you're getting a little serenade here right now. So we thank you so much. Again, if you wanted to learn more about Ziona's music, you can go to Ziona Riley, that's Z as in zebra, IONA, RILEY.bandcamp.com. You can also check out the details of the show tonight at hppr.org. Just click on Community Calendar. It'll pop up right there for today. All right, what are you going to take us out with? We got 4 minutes.
I've got a 4-minute song called Lydia.
All right, here's Ziona Riley on High Plains Morning.
Nope, that's the exact song I just played. This one goes like this. Cracked his skull on our sliding glass door, and on the lawn, all frozen in its pained eyes through stained glass windows, is Lydia with a jack in the pulpit. He had his eye on you, he was watching you sin, and Lydia in the middle of all these holy men, the adrenaline, and Lydia, it's a pity never make it back there to visit them. light because of his wondrous love. And Lydia, the crystalline, holy adrenaline freezing the nerves in your skin. And Lydia, it's a pity never make it back there to visit them. Glass on your thigh, the prismless light mixing up fate with your palette knife hate, making painterly marks on your skin in the dark. And Lydia, the jack in the pulpit, he had his eye on you. You were making him sin. And Lydia, in Sin City, but up at the pulpit, the culprit still boils your blood. And Lydia, you're so pretty, it's just such a shame